Ya, pero es que ya está haciendo. Ya.
Picture this. You're standing at the edge of the Amazon River. The air is thick, humid, pressing down on your skin like a warm blanket you didn't ask for. The water in front of you is dark, almost black, the color of old secrets. You take one step closer, then another, and somewhere beneath that surface, they're watching you. Piranhas, the most feared freshwater fish on Earth. A creature so dangerous that just its name has terrified explorers, soldiers, and scientists for over a century. A fish so perfectly designed to kill that Theodore Roosevelt, the most powerful man in the world in 1913, watched in absolute horror as a school of them reduced a full-grown cow to a skeleton in minutes. But here's the thing scientists have been desperately trying to warn us about. Almost everything you think you know about piranhas is wrong. And the truth? The truth is far more disturbing. If you have the soul of an explorer and want to dive deeper into the world's most terrifying mysteries, hit the subscribe button right now. Join our expedition, leave a like, and turn on notifications. Because on this channel, we don't just scratch the surface, we go where the light doesn't reach. It was 1913. Theodore Roosevelt had just finished his presidency, and he wanted an adventure. So he traveled deep into the Brazilian Amazon on what was called the Roosevelt Rondon Scientific Expedition. And what he witnessed there would change how the entire world saw this fish forever. Local guides corralled hundreds of piranhas into a blocked section of the river. They starved them for days. Then, they pushed a live cow into the water. The water erupted, boiling, churning, red. Within minutes, there was nothing left but bones. Roosevelt went home and wrote about it in his book, calling piranha, and I quote, the most ferocious fish in the world. The legend was born. Hollywood picked it up. Horror movies in the 1970s turned piranhas into mindless killing machines. The image of a human being stripped to the bone, still alive, still screaming, burned itself into global culture. But here's what Roosevelt didn't know. The whole thing was staged. His guides had trapped those piranhas for days. They were starving, desperate. That feeding frenzy wasn't nature, it was theater. And what makes this even stranger? Scientists who have spent decades swimming in piranha-infested waters report something almost unbelievable. One researcher, Dr. Herbert Axelrod, spent 25 years traveling nearly every river system in South America. He said he never once was bitten by a piranha, never met anyone who was bitten, never even met anyone who knew someone who was bitten. So what is the piranha really? A monster or something far more complex? Let's start with what piranhas actually are. There are over 60 species of piranha. 60. Most people don't know that. They imagine one single creature, red-bellied, frenzied, unstoppable. But the piranha family is vast and wildly diverse. Some species are vegetarians. Some eat mostly fruit and seeds that fall from the trees above the river. Some are so peaceful they're kept as aquarium fish. But then there's the red-bellied piranha. This one is different. The red-bellied piranha has what scientists describe as one of the most mechanically perfect mouths in the animal kingdom. The jaw muscles sit at the very tip of the snout, close to the hinge, which means every single bite delivers maximum force. Not speed, force. The black piranha, its close cousin, has been measured with a bite force 30 times its own body weight. Size for size, that's 3 times stronger than an American alligator. a fish barely 8 inches long biting with the relative strength of a dinosaur. And the teeth. Those teeth are not just sharp, they interlock. Upper and lower jaw fit together like scissors, razor-edged, serrated, interlocking, so that a single bite doesn't just puncture, it shears, it removes. It takes a perfect chunk of flesh with surgical efficiency. There's something else, something scientists only discovered recently. Piranhas replace their teeth, not one at a time, like sharks. They replace the entire set, top jaw or bottom jaw, all at once, in one coordinated replacement. Dozens of teeth simultaneously, so that they're never left vulnerable, never left dull. And when they strike, when a piranha actually decides to attack, it does so in less than 1/10 of a second, faster than a human blink. You wouldn't even see it coming. Here's where everything you thought you knew falls apart. For decades, scientists believed piranhas schooled together for one reason: to hunt, to swarm prey in coordinated military-style attacks. The image was of an underwater army, disciplined, relentless, hungry. But when researchers actually set out to prove this, they found something completely different. Piranhas don't school to hunt. They school because they're scared. Piranhas, these supposedly unstoppable predators, are terrified of caimans, of Amazon River dolphins, of herons, of the many things in the Amazon that consider piranhas a perfectly good meal. The school is not a weapon, it's a shield, safety in numbers. Hiding among your identical neighbors so the caiman takes somebody else, not you. And it doesn't stop there. Most piranha attacks on large animals happen for one of two reasons. Either the animal is already wounded, dying, or dead. And piranhas, like most fish, are opportunistic scavengers who take advantage of an easy meal. Or it's the dry season. The dry season changes everything. When water levels drop, piranhas that were spread across vast flooded forests suddenly find themselves crammed into small, isolated pools. Hundreds of them, sometimes thousands. The food runs out. The hunger sets in. And in those specific moments, in those desperate conditions, the piranha becomes exactly what the myth always said it was. That's what Roosevelt saw. Starving fish in a trap. Not nature, desperation. So when does the feeding frenzy actually happen? The conditions have to be exactly right. Blood in the water, the chemical signal that triggers something ancient and hardwired in their brains. Starvation, confinement, and a prey animal that is already compromised. When all of those things align, the transformation is almost impossible to believe. The first piranha to detect the blood signal sends a chemical message through the water. Other piranhas respond immediately. Then a scout approaches, bites, retreats, makes way for the next. It's almost choreographed, systematic, efficient. They take turns cycling in and out, biting and retreating, so that 100 fish can feed simultaneously without getting in each other's way. The water boils, the surface churns with silver bodies. And in those moments, the speed at which living tissue disappears, it's genuinely shocking. But here's the detail that almost no one talks about. Even in a feeding frenzy, piranhas will bite each other. They don't discriminate, they don't slow down. If another piranha gets in the way of a bite, that piranha gets bitten too. This is why, in the most intense frenzies, you can find piranhas with chunks taken out of their own fins, their own scales, their own bodies. The hunger overrides everything, even self-preservation. So are piranhas dangerous to humans? The honest answer is yes, under the right conditions. Bites do happen, mostly during the dry season, mostly on hands or feet, mostly to people who are near fishing bait or moving through shallow water over a nest. And piranha bites are serious. Those interlocking serrated teeth remove tissue cleanly. Stitches, sometimes surgery. But the documented cases of piranhas killing a healthy, uninjured human? They are extraordinarily rare, almost non-existent. The piranha is not a monster, but it is something stranger and more fascinating than any monster could be. Here's something that might completely change how you see this creature. The Amazon River is the most biodiverse body of water on Earth. Over 3,000 species of fish. Ecosystems so complex that scientists are still discovering new species every single year. And the piranha is not just a participant in that system, it is one of the system's most essential architects. As scavengers, piranhas consume the dead and dying, preventing decay, preventing disease from spreading through the water. As predators, they target the weak and sick, which keeps fish populations healthy and genetically strong. Without piranhas, the Amazon would be a very different and much less healthy river. And the piranha's role doesn't end there. During the wet season, when the Amazon floods and the water rises into the forest itself, piranhas spread out and shift their diet almost entirely to fruit, seeds, and insects that fall from the canopy above. They become, in those months, something closer to a fruit-eating forest fish than the flesh-tearing predator of legend. The same fish, the same species, completely different behavior, shaped entirely by the season, the water level, the availability of food. That adaptability, that flexibility, is perhaps the piranha's most remarkable quality. Not the teeth, not the bite force, the ability to be whatever the Amazon needs it to be. So, what is the piranha? It's not the mindless killing machine of horror movies. It's not the harmless, misunderstood creature of overly optimistic documentaries either. The piranha is something far more unsettling. It is a creature that has been perfecting itself for over 10 million years. 10 million years of evolution, of pressure, of death and survival that produced this. A fish with the most mechanically efficient jaw of any freshwater animal. Teeth that replace themselves in coordinated batches. The ability to detect a single drop of blood in a massive river. Communication through sound scientists are still trying to decode. And it lives, right now, today, in one of the last truly wild places left on Earth. We didn't create the myth of the piranha because we misunderstood it. We created the myth because deep in some ancient part of our brain, we recognized what it was. Something that was here long before us. Something perfectly designed for a world that has no room for weakness. Something that, under the right conditions, has absolutely no reason to fear anything, including us. The Amazon keeps its secrets well. And somewhere beneath that dark, still water, something is waiting. Diving into piranha territory requires courage, but continuing the exploration requires support. Mark your presence on this expedition by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell. Now, I want your verdict. When facing a feeding frenzy, do you see a bloodthirsty monster or just nature doing its job flawlessly? Leave your answer in the comments below. I'll see you on the next dive.